Hey, it's Kim, and I'm back today with a plan with me for the month of February. Of course, as usual, I'll be using the Sterling Ink monthly subscription kit, and as usual, it is absolutely beautiful. So I've already gone ahead and put together a swatch page of all of the washi tapes and markers that I think would complement this month's kit. It is really purple heavy, which is kind of scaring me a little bit, but I think I can manage. I sorted through my stash and picked out a few Tombow markers that I feel would be complementary to the colors that are going on in the kit. Like I said, there's a lot of purple, but there's also some browns and some beiges and varying shades of purple, so I don't think it'll be too overwhelming, but I'm excited to see how this all comes together. All right, so let's get started. I've already marked out where I want the month of February to start in my notes pages, so that's where I'm going to stick the little calendar for the month in the notes pages in the back. I've also trimmed it down a bit because the February calendar that comes with the kit is sized for B6, so I just trimmed it down to fit the width of my standard size Hobonichi cousin. Opening up to the monthly view, I'm going to take off all of these little sticky notes that I have parked here. These are things that are reminding me of appointments for the month or just things that I would like to schedule or pay attention to when the month comes. And I really do like the vibe that I went with for the month of January, so I'm going to basically do something very similar. I want to put the month name up in the top left-hand corner. I want to use one of the wider washi strips along the bottom, along with some larger deco down at the bottom as well, to really pull in all the colors from the subscription kit. And here you can see all of the sheets that are available with the full sub kit. We've got washi strips, we've got date numbers, smaller icons, some smaller floral elements, larger floral elements, some larger scene stickers as well. They're all really beautiful and really complement each other well. I think I want to use that larger vinyl sticker in the bottom corner of the calendar. I think that will look nice right there, especially since this is February, so there's only 28 days, so I do have a little bit more space at the bottom to play with. And as usual, I did not really pre-plan anything in terms of placement, so I'm going to play around with the stickers a little bit to see where I want everything placed and where the sizes would fit well. Since I want to do February up in the top left corner, it will overlap on the first a little bit, but that's okay. I do have an appointment on the first, but I'm sure I'll be able to fit it in and right around that. So I plan to use some washi that coordinates with the kit, along with one of those border stickers right underneath the February label. And since I don't want to go too hard with the purple, I think I'm going to stick to the lighter washi colors that I have. So I have like this light tan grid washi that I'll use along with the lighter purple grid washi. I think those will look really nice layered on top of each other. And because I didn't want to go too hard with the purple, like I said, I figured a little bit of that purple washi up at the top would be a good complement to the stickers that already have purple going on. And with using the thicker washi strip along the bottom, I'm just kind of lining it up to see where I need to snip the sticker, because part of it, most of it is going to be over on the right side, and then a shorter section will be over on the left side. But I want to line it up well to make sure I'm cutting it in the right place, to make sure it's not overlapping too many of the dates down at the bottom, and to make sure it still lines up really well with that larger vinyl sticker that I'm going to put down there. So that purple grit washi goes down first because I did feel like it needed a bit more depth of color down at the bottom of the page. And then I'm layering the transparent washi sticker right above that. So I had a little bit of trouble figuring out where to place this larger sticker. I didn't want to cover up that beautiful washi at all, but I also didn't want to cover up that last date down at the bottom right. I believe it was like it's the 25th. So that's the box I would use for 25th/26th. The 26th is actually my daughter's birthday. So I do kind of want to write it there, but we're not necessarily doing our big celebration then. But I didn't want to cover up the whole box, but at the same time I wanted to use the entire sticker, so I pretty much covered up the whole box, but we'll just work with it. And here I'm going in just to split those weekend boxes like I said. So the top half I use for Saturday and the bottom half I use for Sunday. I don't typically fill too many things in on my monthly calendar, especially on Sundays. So this has not caused a problem for me at all. Now, since most of the Tombow markers I pulled out are all in the purple family, I really don't know what I was thinking. I just realized that I didn't pull out anything that was more neutral. So I was trying to see which neutral shade would go best. And I settled on Tombow 990. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. It might be like light sand or something like that, but that's the color I'm going with. So I'm just filling in the few dates and appointments and reminders that I have for February already. In terms of using my monthly spread, I do kind of plan as I go. So as the month goes on, the monthly calendar will fill out more. And I'll use some of these smaller icons to note those appointments and those reminders. And of course, during filming, because, you know, anything can happen, my pen ran out of ink and I needed to refill it. And in that process, I got ink all over my hands. Such is life. Such is the life of a fountain pen lover. Now that everything is filled in, I'm putting these little page flags that I have as reminders for myself. I'm just sticking them back on the calendar so that when February does turn around or come around, I'll remember to schedule these dates and these meetings. And like I said, the monthly calendar fills up usually as the month goes on. So I will put in some little details or little notes about what was going on throughout the month, and I'll write that in on the calendar. Like you can see, I did a little bit in January. Typically, I'll use the marker to note anything or to highlight any days where it's like an all-day event. So for instance, on Monday the 20th, that is President's Day. We don't have any school and any work that day, so I want to make sure I note that so I don't forget. Now it's time to get started on my February collection pages. And if you've seen my videos before, it's all the same. But if you haven't, I'll let you know that I do a monthly tracker. I do a 1 line a day. I'll do a goals page as well as a reflection page. So those are the 4 pages that I'll do as part of my monthly collections. And even though I've been doing this forever, I have to look back at the previous month to make sure I'm lining everything up correctly. And the categories I have for my tracker have been the same for a long time now. I've been toying with and thinking about switching it up, so I didn't even fill in all of the categories in this specific setup because I kind of want to wait until we get a little bit closer to the month. And here is when I remember that I have these tracker stickers from Sterling Ink that I completely forgot to use. I didn't use them for January, didn't use them for February, obviously. So they just mark 1 through 30, and I have both the vertical ones as well as the horizontal ones, which both would have come in handy for right here where I had to write in all the numbers vertically and horizontally. But oh well, hopefully I'll remember that I have them for March. And now I'll get into decorating this page or this spread a bit more. And here is where I like to use the larger scene stickers. Since these pages are mostly just ink, I can get away with a bit more deco on them and not feel like it's too overwhelming. So my usual formula would be a larger scene sticker over on the right, some of the smaller decorative stickers over on the left page, and some washi tapes in between. And every month, without fail, I feel like I start the month off really conservative, thinking that I'm going to run out of stickers by the end of the month, but I never have, and I'm sure I never will. So I feel like this is proving to myself that I can be a bit more liberal with my sticker usage. So in January, I really did try to use a lot more of my stickers. I'm going to do the same for February. And like I said, every single month I've had extra stickers left over, and those are the ones I'll use for my personal journal to kind of jazz up those pages, which is something I really like to do. So none of these stickers ever go to waste, but I'm seeing that I can use a lot more of them in my daily planner. And can we talk about hand lettering? I'm left-handed, so I do find it a little bit difficult to use brush markers and to make it look really nice and pretty. But honestly, I'm trying. Also, I thought that maybe this year I would actually try harder and maybe learn how to hand letter, like use some of those, what do you call them? Like those practice sheets that I can write out and do like the different movements with the brush and all of that. And also find some videos or some instructional things that are geared towards left-handed people. So I think that might be something that I want to work on for this year. And now flipping over to the next spread where my goals are going to go over on the left. So this is basically a list of tasks that I want to focus on related to my goals. And there are 3 main categories that I'm focusing on at the moment. It's personal development, finances, and business. I cover a little bit more about this in my 2023 goals video. So I'll have that linked down below and up in the cards. But these are a few tasks that I want to make sure that I schedule into my calendar for the month of February, just to make sure I'm checking in and touching base on these goals that I want to make sure I achieve. So that's what goes down on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, it's usually, well, not usually, it is my reflections page. So at the end of the month, I'll come back, ask a few questions, kind of journal about what happened throughout the month. It's not really like a recap. I'm not just saying, telling myself what actually happened. I am assessing how I feel the month went and so on. These are 2 new spreads to me, so I'm really kind of finding my footing in terms of how and if they're really helping me. But the reflection side of the spread, since that doesn't really occur until the end of the month, during the month, I'll use it as like my inbox. So I'll use sticky notes and place them there as like a dashboard for my inbox. And I have noticed, at least lately, that keeping my inbox on sticky notes makes it feel temporary. It makes it feel more like a call to action, like it's forcing me to come back to this little sticky note and cross off whatever I need to cross off, or migrate what I need to migrate, and then just toss the sticky note. For whatever reason, this is working better for my brain at the moment than just writing down all of my inbox items on a list in a notebook. Following the same setup that I did for this spread in January, I'm going to put the larger washi strip up at the top, and I want to put the title Goals and Reflection up at the top as well, but I want to do it in some kind of creative way. So for January, I used my label maker to print out the labels for it. Really cute and just fine. But this time I wanted to try something a little bit different, and I had the idea to write out goals and reflections on a separate sheet of paper and kind of cut around that. It didn't work out so well, aside from the fact that my hand lettering is not the best. I also apparently operate scissors like a 4-year-old. So I did a terrible job at kind of cutting around the letters. Also, I couldn't write the word reflection any smaller with this Tombow marker. So then I decided to just shorten it to reflect. I don't know. That is basically the end. I don't know. So I did cut these out, and I still did stick them down, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them. I don't love them. I do know that. I know I don't love them. And I actually stuck it down with the Tombow removable adhesive. So it's the one that kind of makes things sort of like a Post-it note. So you can stick things down and it'll stay just fine, but you can also pull it up and stick it someplace else whenever you want to. So it's not a permanent adhesive. And I like using that for exactly this purpose. I'm not sure if these little titles, header things that I made are even going to stay. So I do have the option to pull them up if I want to. now that that is finally done, that took much longer than it needed to. Now I'm entering in the categories for personal development, business, and finances. So I don't fill this in with a specific goal task until I get closer to the start of the month, maybe even sometimes just after the start of the month. I have to assess what got done in the previous month. I have to assess if I want to shift or pivot and make some changes related to these goals. So I don't like to fill that in too early. But these are the spaces reserved to include that information when I'm ready. Also, when I'm ready, I'll come back and I'll put down some sticky notes over on the right side to act as my inbox. So here's all of February planned out. This is the monthly layout, and it'll get filled in as the month goes on, and there's always some things that I'm sure I forgot about. I don't typically include birthdays on this spread, but I might, especially if there are celebrations. And like I said, I'll add in some little journaling or details about things that happen throughout the month as the month goes on. And then using that tab up at the top, I'll flip back to the February collection pages, which starts all of my dailies. And that's my tracker on the left. And I did forget, like I said, to fill in the categories, but I'm going to wait a little while to see if I kind of revise those things that I want to track for the month of February. I'm sure I'll still track all of the information at the bottom with like cycle and migraines and energy and sleep, but that top is the part that I'm going to make some adjustments to. And then my 1 line a day spread is all set up and ready to get started. That one is pretty straightforward. And those little labels up at the top of the goals and reflection pages are still bothering me, but I'll figure it out. So there you have it, my full plan with me for the month of February. Thank you so much for following along with today's video. It started out with a lot of purple, or at least I thought it was going to be a lot of purple, and it actually wasn't too bad at all. And I doubt it's going to be too much purple for the entire month. So I'm really excited to see how it all plays out and how all the colors play with each other. I appreciate you so much for watching this video, and if there's anything I mentioned or videos that you want to see further information about, I'll have all of that linked down below. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.